Pollyanna. Reading. Read the story about Pollyanna, a young orphaned girl who goes to Vermont to live with her lonely Aunt Polly. Young Pollyanna has been taught by her father to play the glad game. This game consists of finding something good in every situation, and something in everything to be glad about. It was nearly 7 o'clock when Pollyanna awoke that first day after her arrival. Outside, the birds were twittering joyously, and Pollyanna flew to the window to talk to them. She saw then that down in the garden her aunt was already out among the rose bushes. Down the attic stairs sped Pollyanna, leaving both doors wide open. Aunt Polly, with a bent old man, was leaning over a rose bush when Pollyanna, gurgling with delight, flung herself upon her. "Oh, Aunt Polly, I reckon I am glad this morning just to be alive." "Pollyanna," remonstrated the lady, "is this the usual way you say good morning?" "No, only when I love folks so I just can't help it. I saw you from my window, Aunt Polly, and you looked so good I just had to come down and hug you." The bent old man turned his back suddenly. "Pollyanna, Thomas, that will do for this morning." Then she turned and walked rapidly away. "Do you always work in the garden, Mr. Man?" asked Pollyanna, interestedly. "Yes, miss. I'm old Tom, the gardener," he answered timidly. A bell sounded from the house. The next moment Nancy was seen flying out the back door. "Miss Pollyanna, that bell means breakfast," she panted, pulling the little girl to her feet and hurrying her back to the house, and other times it means other meals. But it always means that you're to run like time when ya hear it, no matter where ya be. Breakfast, for the first 5 minutes, was a silent meal. Then Aunt Polly, her disapproving eyes following the airy wings of 2 flies darting here and there over the table, said sternly, "Nancy, where did those flies come from?" "I don't know, ma'am." Nancy had been too excited to notice Pollyanna's up-flung windows. "The afternoon before. I reckon maybe they're my flies, Aunt Polly," observed Pollyanna, amiably. Yours, gasped Miss Polly. What do you mean? Where did they come from? Why, Aunt Polly, they came from out of doors, of course, through the windows. I saw some of them come and you saw them. You mean you raised those windows without any screens? Why, yes. There weren't any screens there, Aunt Polly Nancy directed her mistress sharply. Go at once to Miss Pollyanna's room and shut the windows. To her niece she said, Pollyanna, I have ordered screens for those windows. I knew, of course, that it was my duty to do that. But it seems to me that you have quite forgotten your duty. My duty. Pollyanna's eyes were wide with wonder. Certainly. I know it is warm, but I consider it your duty to keep your windows closed till those screens come. Flies, Pollyanna, are not only unclean and annoying, but very dangerous to health. After breakfast I will give you a little pamphlet on this matter to read. To read? Oh, thank you, Aunt Polly. I love to read. Of course I'm sorry about the duty I forgot, Aunt Polly, she apologized timidly. I won't raise the windows again. Her aunt went to the bookcase in the sitting room, took out a small paper booklet, and crossed the room to her niece's side. This is the article I spoke of, Pollyanna. I desire you to go to your room at once and read it. Pollyanna, her eyes on the illustration of a fly's head, many times magnified, cried joyously, "Oh, thank you, Aunt Polly." The next moment she skipped merrily from the room, banging the door behind her. An abridged extract from Eleanor H. Porter's novel Pollyanna.